Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1944, Part 4. Continuation from March 22, a letter from March 22, 1944. Dearest Mother, I'm not as excited as Marion thinks I should be, but maybe I will be. Marshall still writes every day. I'll write to you Monday and tell you all about it, so you'll be hearing from me next Tuesday, okay? You must write, though, and give me encouragement or something. Alice writes, Your mother was up the other day and she looked lovely. That's the first time I've seen her hat. The second one you sent her. It really looks grand on her. Nice, eh? I got a hat yesterday, and is it ever cute? I'm quite in love with it. You know my other one is so conventional, and this is just the opposite. I felt quite brave getting it, but I don't regret it. It's very tiny and has a bow veil at the back. Why do I do this anyway? Anyway, I have fun. It's black. What made the coal shuttle? It saw the lemon drop. What made the ice cream? Because the egg beat her. Corny, but Marion's reading them to me from the Prairie Pals. Remember the torchbearers? Gee, I feel old. Oh, Jeannie Newman's fine. I see her every day. She gets on the streetcar with the nurse to go down to get her eyes treated. She's a swell little girl. Everyone likes her. We had our ice carnival Friday. Windy. In the afternoon we had a party for the little ones. Mrs. Smith gave it for Ronald. She came down from Regina and would like me to take him home at Easter. We had big dishes of ice cream and big pieces of angel food cake, imagine, and candy, etc. Quite a day. She took some snaps, so I'll send you one if we get the negative. I'll enclose a couple that were taken on your birthday. They're not very clear, but it'll give you an idea. Send the one of Marshall and Art back, by Friday? Marshall's the one in the middle. Art's on the outside. I just about fell over. Marion says that she's planning on buying an evening dress. What for? I said. Stupid, aren't I? Oh, I think it's a nice thing to have. Gee, and after all the pep talks I've had from her that I'm foolish to get one. Now she's going to. Not for any special occasion. It's funny. I'm beginning to believe that if I do everything she doesn't think I should do, I'll be all right. First my coat, then the dress. Now I shouldn't go to Edmonton. I don't think I will, though. Am I ever thankful? Alice writes about a girl who, quote, drives 2 miles to school, lights the fires, thaws out the ink. And then I said to myself, how lucky is Ruth? Does she realize? I can just see you or even me doing any of those things. I do know I am lucky, and aside from my job, it's swell to have a nice mother like you. I'd really like a word from the rest of my family, too. Love, Ruth. 818 13th Street, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. April 2, 1944. Dearest Mom, swell to get your letter in bed yesterday morning, but I was certainly sorry about the house. If I were you, I'd try and save in case you find another one someday. Try and get a new Hudson seal coat in the fall, I think you ought to have some reward for Pop's better job, but the house would have been perfect. I guess I won't be coming home now, so I'll look forward to seeing you in May. I'd really like my bike now, as it's really getting swell weather. Do you think you could borrow Jean Newman's ticket, say next Sunday, and get Bud to check my bike on it, and mail the check to me and return Jean's ticket? Also, do you think Jean could bring a parcel back to me, my blue dress? I could try to meet her at the train station Monday if she would. I really need my dress, as the 2 blue ones are all I possess. I wish I could have afforded to buy one this month, but I got my coat. I wouldn't have except under your hint to put a deposit on one. Of course I went the whole way and bought it, and I'm sure broke now. You probably won't approve of it, but I'm crazy about it. It's champagne color, almost white and a bit long-haired. It sounds so unpractical. I don't care. I really like it, and it does suit me, believe it or not. I can't wear the beige ones, but this is lighter. I can wear it over my green suit and also my blue dresses and formal if I ever wear it. Hope you don't get too cross. Oh, I haven't noticed Jean's cough lately at all. I met her going to the doctor's with the nurse Friday morning and she looked well. I also had her for art Friday afternoon. And she's still a swell little girl. Are you getting a new spring coat or hat, Mom? I'd love you to get a flowered silk dress for spring. Manage it? I haven't done anything for entertainment, but I never even wanted to. Tony and Maurice have been night flying, but phoned to say they hope to be off it next week. But Marshall will be down, so it won't matter to me. Miriam had a couple of Air Force boys at their place for the weekend, but she confided that they were short, so I decided I'd better work at the library. A girl, Nancy, asked me to go to the show with her, too. That's where Miriam, etc. wanted to do, but she treated me to a lunch when I finished at the library. Marion had 2 soldiers last night and thinks I'm awfully smug or something because I wouldn't join them. But I don't believe in going out unless you really like the people, and I don't like soldiers. She met them skating Thursday. Such is life. I miss you. Love, Ruth. 818 13th Street, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. April 23rd, 1944. Dearest Mother, got your letter in bed yesterday. So read Marion the part about her which naturally pleased her very much. She really did hope she made a good impression. It was nice to hear all the news. Lots doing in Regina, eh? I was so surprised about Ruth Nelson. Again? I was really hoping that it wouldn't come off. I bet Mrs. Nelson is really disappointed, and I do hope her TB tests are okay. We had ours last month. Both Gordon and Gilbert are positive, but not active now. My cough is a bit better now, but rather tough last week. I've been taking cod liver oil, oranges, lemons, etc., so we'll live. I was away from school a day and a half. 1 day to study, and one morning I slept in, as Marion went to school at 7:30, and I slept through the alarm. My cold was the excuse, but everybody knew, I guess. This is a secret, so don't tell anyone. I had to buy a bond. Beth and I said we were afraid of not getting summer checks, so they wrote to Regina and said we would. So Mr. Downer said it'd cost us a bond. I hope I can manage so not to have to cash the last one in. Glad the coupon was acceptable. I'll enclose another. I went to church this morning, and after Miriam gave me some snaps. I'll enclose a couple. Marion took the one of Marshall and I. The ones Miriam took of us weren't so good, although this isn't wonderful. I must write to Alice and Connie. I've been dropping correspondence rapidly, but would like to keep them. I got an airmail from Gordon, and he's quite bored with Ontario. I got an air letter from Frank. He's just arrived in England. It was posted the 14th, and I got it the 19th, which was quite quick. Outside of that, and of course yours, I haven't had any mail, but I haven't had time to answer anybody except you for so long. It's a beautiful day today, but I'll have to start studying soon. We get out of school the 22nd, so I'm looking forward to a nice quiet week's rest at home before summer school. We aren't having a deaf course here, and I told them I couldn't go to the United States much as I'd love to take the trip, so I'll probably take a course over here or else at Regina. Miss Pridmore is teaching primary methods in Regina. It'll be so nice having you come up. Your coat sounds much nicer than mine. Probably I'll like it better, but anyway, I'm rather disappointed I'd forgotten Miriam had her holidays in May, so you won't meet her. She's leaving on the 5th for 3 weeks and will visit Toronto, London, etc. She can meet Marshall too, which will be nice for them. Mrs. Foster keeps herself right in there with new boarders all the time, eh? Marion and I would like to know what we're going to do next year, but I doubt if it'll be boarding. It was the funniest thing yesterday. I was at an art teacher's meeting, and when I came home, one of our storm windows was off. Why one, Marion? She had unhooked the window and pushed it out too far, so it fell down 3 stories into the ground about 6 inches and was unbroken. Wonderful, eh? They've just taken the hint and taken off the others. I guess it's summer. Your bridge club's folding up too, eh? What did you wear to the banquet? I'd love you in a jersey silk dress, maybe green and violet or some of those beautiful combinations. I love thinking about clothes, but in my circumstances, it's as far as I can get. About me missing school, Marion says one teacher said, "What that girl gets away with." So I guess I'd better be careful. I knew the boy here was just in for a minute. He shot 16 gophers and a prairie chicken yesterday. He's in grade 9 and is trying for the provincial track. Nice kid. His bedroom's in the basement, and I did the washing yesterday, so heard all his views on life. I love you so very much. Bye, Ruth. 818 13th Street, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. April 23rd, 1944. Dear Bud, Hi. Was it ever swell, dear, of you to fix up my bike? I do appreciate it, as I know what a wreck it was. I'm sorry, but they won't let me keep it inside here. But I have to keep it in the rack with Ken's. So that's the way it is. Quite a trip you made Sunday. Holy Dinah, Bud, don't you ever think about Mom? I'm glad I wasn't home, 'cause if I remember, the worrying starts about 10 o'clock. Or is she getting used to you? What was it like riding along 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning anyway? Did Pete get heck? I'm still sorry about the house, though, but I think a car just would not be the thing. The only kind to get would be a really super one, and that would be too much. Best thing now is to get the next lot and fence it in and make nice grounds for the house. We haven't got our radio yet, and with the way it is a bond deduction every month, I doubt if we'll get one. They aren't so necessary in the summer, but next winter will roll around, I expect. I hope to see you for a few days at the end of June. We get out the 22nd, before you go to camp. Hope we get along, eh? Probably for about 2 days, if not confined. Roller skating has started here, so I'll have to go sometime when not studying. Don't ever think your sister's not a good kid, Bud. An Air Force fellow that I knew last fall just phoned and wanted to come up for a chicken dinner, so I said that the chickens would be in at Christmas time. Well, good, eh? I know, corny. Too bad you didn't meet Marion. I suppose you've heard all about her visit. I have anyway. Better say bye, and I'll do better at a later date. I really like your letters, so keep them up, eh? Bye now. Love, Ruth. 818 13th Street, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. April 25th, 1944. Dear Daddy, we were sitting here studying, and I just had to stop because the music on the radio downstairs was so very beautiful. It was one of those selections which begin with a cornet or bugle, and throughout the melody it reoccurs. It really gets into my soul. Then I realized that it was most likely the fact that it was the cornet which I found so attractive in the piece. It really used to bother me when I was little, but now it holds something more than any other instrument. We were at the last symphony of the season, and I really did enjoy it. That is something I do have you to thank for. We probably will never get along because we do aggravate each other so, but we do agree on some things. I don't expect an answer from this, because so often you try to take me down a peg or two, and it takes so long to regain my self-confidence. I really believe that I need all my self-assurance in order to carry things off. I'm analyzing things. I found that at regular intervals I have to either write or preach a moralistic or appreciation of the finer things sermon, and then I feel better. However, if there is such a thing as stages and aesthetic appreciation, I reach my peak in orchestral arrangements of classical or semi-classical pieces. I think I have you to thank, and I thought I'd like you to know. I'll snatch the bouquet back again because I can't remember you consciously doing anything to instill or develop it. Maybe subconsciously, and the environment idea. So thanks regardless. Her father played the cornet when at home growing up, so she heard it a lot. This goes on and on. Verbose is the word. Bye. Love, Ruth. Hi, Bud. Sure love to see you decked out in cowboy or collegiate clothes. Soon be over your first year and then 16. Now when I was 16, still get all the words to the popular music? If your heart goes bumpity bump, etc., is quite the latest to me, but then I'm just an old teacher, so keep me informed. After all, what's the use of a brother in collegiate if I'm going to lose contact? Collegiate means high school. Scott's really doing okay, eh? Scott Collegiate, that's the high school she went to and Bud was going to. I heard from Connie and Pete is really going to the dogs. The bad boy was bike riding until 2 o'clock a.m. Have you heard of anything like that? You wouldn't know, eh? Bye, dear, and I like your epistles. Love, Ruth. 818 13th Street, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. April 30th, 1944. Dearest Mom, it was so swell to get your letter the morning of quite a big day, my English exam, remember? I was up, and after I read your letter, it put me in a swell mood. I dashed downtown and returned a library book 5 days overdue. Procrastinator. I found a wee safety pin closed, picked it up, so felt quite happy. I raced to the income tax office and put in my returns. The elevator guy asked me if I felt better, the last day to get it in. Procrastinator. I went to the bank and cashed in my bond. I had to, even though payday is Tuesday, because I figured it out that I could never work out even then. I feel better now. I won't be in debt anyway. I am buying a bond, as you know, and really hope to keep it. I feel like I'll soon be getting on my feet. Well, then I went to Jaeger's to put a payment on my coat, or rather 2 payments, since I almost missed one. Procrastinator. Anyway, it was home by 10 in the morning. Imagine me. By 2 we were at our exam, and it really was a good paper. I doubt if I'll get too good a mark, but I think I'll be happy if I just pass my classes. You know I shouldn't excuse myself, but really, Mom, it's been too much for me. I'm the only person I know that tried 2 classes and work as well, because when you think of the kids that spend a whole year on 5 and do almost nothing else but study, and I haven't exactly sat around here. However, we wrote for 3 hours, which took quite a lot out of me. Oh, of course, I carried my ink in my purse, and it spilled all over my letters and address book. When I pulled it out, Marion and I just about killed ourselves laughing, while the other old teachers looked on me with scorn, and one said, "Well, you wouldn't be Smallshaw if you didn't do something like that." Huh. We're very happy, though, now, although the night before the exam was quite a strain on us. The girl downstairs came home at 5 o'clock and found her mother unconscious. Phyllis rushed in and rubbed her arm to bring the circulation back, and it turned black. Then they lifted her, and her throat rattled. She never regained consciousness and died at 9 o'clock. Reverend Sampson was over. It was her heart. She's been in the hospital twice and has had 5 transfusions, but the moment she comes home, she'd be up and washing clothes. Her daughters are 25 and 17, I believe, and very helpless, like me, only worse, so it'll be hard on them. The pop's in the army. Marion bawled, of course, but I didn't, so everyone thought I was heartless. It was really awful, too. Wednesday, Dr. Thorne died. He was so swell, you know Sybil's dad. He didn't recognize Miriam when she saw him Tuesday night, and Dorothy, Sybil's sister, flew from Ontario. Miriam drove her from the airport, but he didn't know her either. It was his heart, too, also kidneys. I was talking to Sybil Saturday, but didn't mention it. She looked like she couldn't take any mention of it. I wasn't going to stop, but she stopped me and said she thought the picture of me was cute and she was getting a print of it made. Nice, eh? She's Marshall's and my age and went to the varsity dances with him last year. I'm glad you like the snaps, dear. We took another roll yesterday. Marion and I and her sailor and his chum, the sailor's film. I was quite surprised to see 2 sailors instead of 1. I think it was Marion's idea because she thought I needed a nice weekend after everything. It's been a lot of fun. We went just about everywhere, so I won't go into detail. Oh, Marshall is now in Three Rivers, Quebec, and in 2 weeks will be at the depot in Lachine, and thence overseas. I got 2 letters from him last week in Chicago, one from Montreal and 2 from Three Rivers. I also got one today from Three Rivers, all airmail. He's getting quite perturbed because I have only written once, and he hadn't got that judging from the letter today, but I'll write again this week. He sent me quite a few souvenirs, like the program from the Palmer House Empire Room in Chicago, just showing off. Also his leave. I'll enclose it, not that you're interested, but you can send it back. I hope you got a nice time in Estevan. It'll sure be swell to see you. Hope you got your dress okay. How's Pop's TB? Marion thought I had it and almost had me in the doctor's office, but I escaped and my cough's much better. Gordon and Gilbert are okay, the darlings. Do I ever love my kitties, honest? Swell about your bedroom. I love to hear all the doings. Sure makes it seem closer, especially now. I can say things to Marion and she'll understand. We really get along very well considering we are so opposite. Marshall and Marion would have clashed if she were here another day. Marshall sort of ignored her, and Marion can't stand that above all else. She thinks he's nice, though, even if they don't get along, so that helps. I like the Scott recorder, but it's certainly getting a lot further away, collegiate, I mean. I'm sure getting old. Whoops, I was just administered a bawling out. We ended by playing bridge last night, if you can imagine, about midnight. Anyway, the kids phoned for 2 taxis, and apparently the other one awoke the household, etc. We won't let it happen again. Wait till Marion gets home. Bud's really growing up, eh? Pants, shoes, library books. Wonder what it'd be like to be around for a while. I will in 7 weeks. Mom, you don't know how wonderful it is to get those exams off. I wish I'd done better, but anyway, it's a swell life. What say? Bye. I love you, Ruth. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1944, Part 4. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History, with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. You also might consider liking and subscribing. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history, if this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, and photographs, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.